would you like to tell the story? Is that going to make this go faster? It is your
It
story.
is my
It is your story. So back in your day, back in BK.
Back in my day. Okay. So my first W-2 job was Burger King in high school. And I worked there with my sister and her now ex-husband. And when we moved, that was in Pennsylvania. When we moved from Pennsylvania to Idaho, I started working at the Burger King there and working the overnight shift, the graveyard shift. And her then husband got hired on there as well. And so usually he would, like, we would transition. He would have the overnight or I would have the overnight. We were basically the two that if one of us was on, then the other one was off type of thing. This particular time, though, I had worked like noon to 8, and he was supposed to come in at 8 to relieve me. And he called out. And I'm like, okay. So the manager's like, hey, can you cover his shift? I'm like, all right, okay.
So that'd be 8 to what?
So I would have worked a total of noon to 6 a.m., something like that. No, 16 hours. So it must have been
12. Noon to midnight is 12 hours.
6. So he must have been coming in at 10. So it must have been 2 to 6. 2 p.m. to 6. Yeah, because he would have worked 10 to 6 a.m. And my sister convinced him to call out. And so the manager's like, can you work this? I'm like, I guess so. And I get home, and she just wanted him to watch a movie with him. Like, he called out just for that. So I pulled a 16-hour shift so that my sister and her husband could have a date. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I am dead tired here. Like, the hours are nice, but I am dead tired here, smelling of grease, and like, yeah, it was a very long day. Well, and especially because you don't get to sit down a whole lot when you're working fast food. You're on your feet nearly the entire time, and with overnight stuff, you've got to break everything down, deep clean the dining room. You got to deep clean all kinds of stuff. You gotta clean out you gotta filter the fryers, and yeah, there's a ton. So you don't get a whole lot of time to sit down at all. And because it was only the overnight shift, it was only one worker and one manager, you didn't truly get a break. Like, not really.
That's not legal.
No, it isn't. But it was what it was. And so, yeah, so I'm just like, I was very, very angry with them when I found out that, because I'm sitting there thinking, because they didn't communicate at all with me. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, is he sick? Like, because at that time, both of them were living with my mom, and so was I. I'm like, is he sick? Is he come down with something? What's going on? Because he didn't call out a ton, but he wasn't always the most reliable either.
That's crappy to do on a regular job, but to know that your not quite brother-in-law is your relief.
Well, at the time, I was his brother-in-law, but yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you said boyfriend, his husband. My bad.
Yeah, at that time, they were married.
Okay. So they're not married now.
Yeah, no, they were married for.
So you got your revenge. Good for you.
3-4 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But,
and then you just kept planting seeds of doubt in her mind, and finally got him kicked to the curb for what he did to you. I'm proud of you, Joe.
At this point, my sister spends more time with her former mother-in-law than she does with her ex.
Interesting. So, Diva says, my son says friends don't let friends go to Burger King, so instead go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Now, you get a job where you get a job. I never actually worked Burger King, but I worked Long John Silver's. I worked Taco Bell, which I actually loved and still do. Chick-fil-A, which I actually did enjoy. But I've worked a lot of fast food and stuff, but man, Burger King's rough.
I've worked at three different Burger Kings in 3 different states.
And you didn't get drug tested there because, okay, so pre-show we talked about drug testing. I'll just leave it there. All right, carry on.
What and what baffled me is how much hygiene laws changed per state.
Okay.
Because like I said, I worked in Pennsylvania at Burger King. I worked at Burger King in Idaho, and I worked at Burger King briefly in Tennessee. And then for fast food wise, I worked at Arby's in Washington State, and then in Idaho, I also worked at a local, actually Taco Bell-esque place called Fiesta Ole. It was a lot better than Taco Bell, to be honest. But I'm surprised you didn't react to that.
Oh no, it's in that crazy 3 hours of sleep brain. I know you don't mean it.
But in Washington at Arby's, I had to, before I could start working, I had to go to a full-on health code class and take it and pass. Like different meats needed to be heated up to different temperatures and different just general sanitation and cleanliness in the food industry. Whereas when I was working Burger King in Tennessee, they didn't even require you to wear gloves because the state didn't mandate it. So you can sit there preparing the food. I always wore gloves because that's what I had always done, because every other place I had lived at requires you to wear gloves. Plus, I don't want to be touching all the greasy food with my hands. So I always wore gloves, but most of the people did not. And I don't know if that law has changed since I worked there. Possibly, maybe not. I don't know. That was 15 years ago that I worked there. But at the time, they didn't require it, and I was like, "We don't have to wear gloves." Like I asked the managers, and they're like, "No." Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, that's so dumb. It's so dumb.
So yeah, it's very different, very different. So,
but, dude, I just how much older was this guy than you?
The one that my sister married?
Yeah.
He was a year younger than me.
How old were you at the time?
My sister got pregnant at 16. They got married.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
He was
the math wasn't mathing.
No, he's my age. My sister's 2 years younger. They got married when my sister was 16 or 17, and he was 18, almost 19.
Okay, that math tracks. So it was years before you had the perfect weapon, which we'll get into. But man, I would definitely been plotting some kind of violent revenge on that guy. It's like, you don't. If you want to say you're gonna show up, man. Just because, and man, my sister, I would have ripped her upside one side and down the other, man. It just. I'm furious for you. This was years ago,
So when I confronted her, I was like, "Why?" She was like, "Well, I didn't think they'd make you stay." I'm like, "Who else are they gonna make stay? It's me and him that do the overnight shifts." What you think? Oh man,
dumb and young. But here's the perfect weapon. It does take baby who wears diapers and/or bonus drinks a milk bottle. Okay, you take a dirty diaper, you wedge it up under one of the back seats somewhere, and just especially in the South in the summertime, you just let that cook.
Let it cook.
Let it cook.
Oh no.
And I threatened my brother-in-law one day. His daughter was born 3 days after Oakland was born, 3 or 4 days after, something like that.
That's up there with the diabolical sticking the shrimp tails in the curtain rods.
Yeah.
When you move out.
Yeah.
When you move out, when you leave your ex and you move out and they're stuck with the apartment, you stick the shrimp tails in the.
That's no, yeah, absolutely. But my brother-in-law was giving me grief about something. Like he just kept nailing. I was like, man, you need to stop. You need to stop. He just kept doing it. He thought it was funny. I went, I'm gonna take, because my son definitely took bigger poops than his daughter did. I was like, I'm gonna take one of my son's diapers and wedge it under the seat in your wife's car. And you'll never find it because you have your own kid. You'll just think she pooped herself multiple times. And he stopped laughing. He got real serious. He's like, I'm sorry. I will do it. I will do it, man.
Charles is not above biological warfare.
Absolutely.